Okay, so here's a wild thought for you. Have you ever stopped to think that how clean your city is could actually affect, well, how well you think? It sounds a little out there, I know, but the science connecting our environment to our actual brain power is pretty fascinating. And today we're going to dive right into how it all works. So let's just cut right to the chase with this question. Could cleaning up your street actually boost your IQ? I mean, really, can it make you smarter? It sounds kind of out there for sure, but this question, it gets right to the heart of this really powerful and honestly mostly invisible link between the world around us and what's going on inside our heads. I mean, look, we all get it, right? A clean park, a street with no trash, it just feels better. But what if that feeling isn't just, nice? What if a clean environment is actually actively making us sharper, sharpening our ability to think, to learn, to create? Let's unpack that. So, when you boil it all down, the idea is actually pretty simple. Your brain isn't sealed off in a little box. It's constantly taking everything in from your surroundings: the order, the chaos, the quiet, the noise, and all that input. It's not just background static. It's directly shaping how well your brain works. It's a total two-way street. Our environment changes us, and we, of course, can change our environment. Okay, so to really get why a clean space is so good for us, I think it helps to flip the script for a second and look at the opposite. So let's talk about the cost, the cognitive cost of living in a cluttered, messy, polluted world. The key idea here is something scientists call cognitive load. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like this. Imagine your brain's attention is a battery. It's only got so much juice. Well, a chaotic, messy, polluted environment is constantly bombarding you with stuff that drains that battery. Nonstop noise, visual clutter, just that low-level stress. And what happens? You've got way less mental energy left over for the important things like focusing, remembering stuff, or solving problems. But a clean, calm environment, it's like putting your brain on a charger. It frees up all those resources so your mind can just work better. And look, this is not just some nice theory. This stuff has very real world consequences. Study after study has shown that kids who grow up in areas with high pollution levels tend to have lower IQs than kids in cleaner environments. It's a really powerful, kind of scary reminder of just how deeply the physical world around us shapes our potential from a very young age. All right, so that's the problem. Enough doom and gloom, let's talk about the solution. Because a clean environment doesn't just get rid of the bad stuff, it actively adds good stuff. It boosts our brain power through three key pathways, creating what you could call a clear mind advantage. And it all works together in this amazing positive feedback loop. It starts with having clean spaces and green parks around you. Just being in those places is proven to lower your stress hormones and get you moving, which pumps more blood to your brain. Then, with your body and mind feeling better, your focus sharpens and your creativity gets a boost. And all of that leads to the final payoff, just better brain function all around. See how each step just builds on the last one? It's a beautiful thing. We can really break this whole advantage down into three main pillars. First up, and this is the big one, is less mental stress. A calm, orderly space just helps create a calm, focused mind. Simple as that. Second is better physical health. I mean, it makes sense, right? Cleaner air, more places to walk or run, that's a no-brainer. And third, and this is one people often forget, is stronger social connection. Clean, inviting parks and plazas, they make you want to go out and be around other people. And all that social time is actually fantastic for your brain. Okay, so this all sounds great on paper, right? But is this actually happening anywhere? Let's bring this down to earth and take a look at some real-world examples, cities that are actually putting these ideas into practice. And wow, when you look at the data, the contrast is pretty stark. You've got cities like Copenhagen and Zurich. They're famous for prioritizing clean streets, beautiful parks, and green transportation. And guess what? Their residents consistently report lower stress and just a higher sense of well-being. Then you look at the other side. People living in really polluted city centers often struggle more with things like focus and memory. The real-world evidence really backs this whole thing up. So, knowing all this is the first crucial step. But now what? Let's talk action. How do we actually go about building these smarter, clearer communities and get this advantage for ourselves and for everyone else? Well, the blueprint for making this change happen really has two parts. You need that top-down action from city planners and leaders, things like great waste management and smartly designing green spaces right into the city. But, and this is just as important, you need the bottom-up stuff too. Getting the word out and getting regular people, you and me, involved in community cleanups and taking pride in our spaces. You absolutely need both. When you get right down to it, it all boils down to one simple, powerful idea. The cleaner the environment, the clearer the mind. This isn't just about making things look pretty. It's not a luxury. It's a fundamental piece of building a healthy, smart, high-functioning society. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. This isn't just about big city plans. It's about us. It's about you. So what's one small thing you could do, say, this week? Maybe it's just tidying up your desk. Or maybe it's joining a local cleanup day. Or heck, just making a point to spend 10 extra minutes in a park. Every single tiny step you take toward a clearer environment is also a step toward a clearer mind. Now it's your turn.